All right, let's get right into it. This explainer is for you. Yeah, you, the one who's standing in what feels like the ruins of a plan, a career, maybe even a dream, and you're thinking, this is it. This is the end of the line. Well, today, we're going to build a comeback blueprint, piece by piece, using the incredible wisdom of Napoleon Hill.
You know this feeling, don't you? It's that moment when every voice, especially that nagging one inside your own head, is telling you it's over. And Napoleon Hill gets it. He starts right there, in that moment of darkness, acknowledging that this feeling of finality, it's real, it's heavy, and we have to start by admitting that.
But, and you really need to hear this, that feeling is not the truth. According to Hill, that sense of finality isn't a verdict from the universe. No, it's a signal. It's actually pointing you towards something much, much deeper. That moment of complete ruin isn't your end. It's your turning point. It is right here, in this exact spot, that destiny rolls up its sleeves and starts its most important work. Now, this isn't just some nice-sounding idea. Hill describes it as a fundamental law of life. The breakdown has to happen before you can be rebuilt, stronger than you ever were before.
So what's really going on inside you right now? Well, you're at the center of this huge conflict. On one side, you have the world, your circumstances, all that doubt, and it's screaming at you, quit, just give up. But then there's this other voice, a quieter one, deep inside, that's whispering, rise. The thing is, your entire comeback, it all hinges on which one of those voices you choose to listen to. And this is where you have to flip the script in your head. Every single disappointment, every door that slammed in your face, it wasn't just random bad luck. It was all hidden preparation. Life was getting you ready, training you, turning those old wounds into wisdom. Your pain wasn't punishment, it was instruction. And all that time you thought you wasted, that was your training ground. So, where do we start the actual reconstruction? Right here. The comeback is an inside job, 100%. It doesn't start with taking action out there in the world. It starts with architecture. It starts by rebuilding the one and only thing you have total control over, your mind.
Now think about this definition of thought. It's not just some random idea that pops into your head. It's the primary creative force in the universe. Every single empire, every invention, every fortune, it all started as a deliberate thought in someone's mind. So that means if your world has collapsed, you can rebuild it with the exact same tool you used to create it in the first place.
So here's the practical how-to part. Step 1. You've got to clear out the debris. You can't build a palace on a pile of rubble. That means fear, resentment, self-pity, it's all got to go. Step 2. Create the blueprint. You need a crystal clear picture of what you want, and you have to hold it in your mind with total faith. And then, step 3, you give the command. This is where you use auto-suggestion, which is just a fancy way of saying you repeatedly tell your subconscious a new story, a new truth, until it believes it.
If you take one thing away from this section, let it be this. This is the absolute core of it all. Everything you see on the outside is just a mirror reflecting what's on the inside. So, if you fix the cause, which is your dominant thoughts, the effects in your life have no choice but to change too. And Andrew Carnegie was a master of this. You know, when markets were crashing and everyone else was panicking, he would be completely still, just thinking. He wasn't reacting to all the noise. He understood that his calm, ordered mind was his greatest asset. He saw adjustment where everyone else saw crisis. And because of that mental order, he built an empire.
Okay, so the mental blueprint is ready. Your mind is rebuilt. But, you know, even the most beautiful blueprint in the world is just a piece of paper without energy. That brings us to the next absolutely critical ingredient. We have to ignite a burning desire.
Yeah, faith points you in the right direction. It gives you the plan. But desire is the fuel in the engine. It's what gives the whole thing life. Without it, that brilliant mental plan of yours is just going to sit there, collecting dust. Desire is the force that turns a thought into a thing. It's the magnet that starts pulling everything you need right to you.
So, look at this number. 10,000. What does that look like to you? Kind of looks like an overwhelming failure, doesn't it? 10,000 failures.
But then, you hear how Thomas Edison saw it. This quote just perfectly captures the power of a burning desire. It completely reframes what failure even is. For him, it wasn't a stop sign, it was just a progress report. His desire to create that light bulb was so intense, so all-consuming, that the idea of quitting wasn't even an option. Every failure was just another step forward.
So how do we get that kind of desire?
Well, it can't be a vague wish like, I hope things get better. No, it has to be a single, laser-focused goal. You've got to write it down, make it real, and you have to emotionalize it every single day. Actually feel what it's like to have already achieved it. And here's a big one. If your goal serves something bigger than just yourself, the universe tends to get behind it in a big way.
Okay, blueprint? Check. Fuel? Check. But now comes the really tough part. There's always a gap between when you plant the seed and when you see the harvest. This is where most people give up. And that gap is bridged by only one thing: endurance. Or, as we often call it, discipline.
You know, we have to redefine this word. We hear discipline and we think of something hard or restrictive, but it's not. It's liberation. It's freedom from being pushed around by your moods, by your doubts. It's the steady rhythm you keep up even when you don't feel inspired. It is, literally, your faith in action.
And this little timeline says it all, doesn't it? First, you plant the seed of desire. Then comes the most important phase, the unseen growth. This is where your persistence is everything. The roots are growing deep, but you can't see a thing happening on the surface. Now, the impatient person digs up the seed to check on it and kills the whole thing. The disciplined person just keeps watering because they know the harvest is coming.
So here's something you can do, starting tomorrow. Create one sacred hour. Just one. An hour of discipline that belongs only to your comeback. No phone, no distractions. Just you and your plan. You think, you study, you speak your goals out loud. I'm telling you, the person who can truly own one consistent hour every day will eventually own their entire life.
Now, when all this inner work becomes a habit, something incredible starts to happen. You enter the final stage of the comeback. This is where your inner world starts to actually command your outer world. And it's not about controlling other people. It's about mastering the forces that used to control you.
It all starts right here. You can't control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. The person who learns to pause, to observe instead of just reacting, well, that person has found the source of all true power.
And from that place of inner calm, that mastery over your reactions, something amazing happens. You naturally start to influence your circumstances. You stop being a leaf blown around by the wind, and you become the wind. Your outer world starts to reflect that inner order you've built.
And this is the result, a state of quiet authority. Life isn't just happening to you anymore. It's happening through you. You move with a kind of calm confidence that people can feel. Chaos might be swirling around you, but it never gets inside you. This is true dominion.
So there it is. The blueprint is complete. You've built your comeback. You've climbed out of the depths. But the journey isn't really over, because the highest purpose of your comeback isn't just about your own success. It's about your contribution. Your victory isn't truly complete until your story becomes the reason someone else believes that they can rise too. So the final question is this. Now that your comeback is built, who will it inspire?